I only see 570. Why isn't it updating? All right, we're in bear market!
On May the 6th, 2010, at 1400 hours, 42 minutes, 44 seconds and 75 milliseconds, an E-mini future traded on the Chicago market begins to show erratic price swings. The fluctuations affecting this E-mini, an important indicator of market moods, soon spread to other shares within the US, ultimately leading to the fastest and most dramatic fall of Dow Jones ever. Nearly $862 billion go up in smoke, albeit briefly.
There were two things that stood out a lot. One was the speed that the market initially plummeted.
Greg Berman, a Wall Street veteran himself, led the investigation into the flash crash from SEC, the US financial market regulator.
So for broad indices to plummet multiple percent, 3, 4, 5% in a matter of a minute or 2 or 5 minutes, that in itself is quite extraordinary. The second aspect that was even more extraordinary was the number of stocks that were affected and the depth that some of these fell to. So when you see large cap stocks fall 60, 70, 80, 90%, that was quite dramatic. At that time, what we didn't understand, and again, we're talking about just 2 to 3 hours after the event, is how can stocks trade for a penny? How can stocks trade for 1/100th of a penny? Who's buying and who's selling down there?
So when this E-mini drops, then the SPY drops. Well, the SPY is made up of 500 different stocks, and then all the stocks in there are members of indexes, different indexes, and so they'll reprice, and then the whole mess has options on top of it, and for SPY, it's pretty much all the options, so those all have to reprice. So you're trying to reprice all this stuff in 50 to 100 milliseconds, and the system cannot handle that.
Evanston, a city just north of Chicago, is home to Eric Scott Hunsader's company. Hunsader is a data analyst whose company collects, purges and sells financial data. On May the 6th, he received urgent reports from clients complaining about incorrect share price information. The markets could no longer sustain the massive data flow produced by this flash crash.
And that's when the delay started, a few hundred milliseconds, and then a few seconds, and then 5 seconds, and then 10 seconds. And then some of them went all the way to 36 seconds.
So the delay in the data was 36 seconds.
Right, but the way that the timestamps occur is it hid the delay, so you couldn't see it. The Dow Jones, it was actually should have been here. The real price was here. The delay in the system caused it to appear like it was over here. So when people were seeing the Dow dropping, this was actually really where the market was at that moment in time.
What we're seeing right now, I mean, I believe maybe unprecedented. You're not talk about capitulation. Let's take a look at P&G. All right, this is going to say everything. P&G is now down 25%.
Well, that's true. If that stock is there, you just go and buy it. That can't be there.
To watch people talk about a major business news channel who have seen markets day in and day out, and they didn't know that this market had already turned and was flying higher. Something's not right. You should at least be able to know that you're behind. I mean, it's one thing to be behind, it's another thing to have no idea you're behind.
Long before the SEC report came out, Eric Hunsader had published his first findings on his website.
We're the ones who pointed out NYSE was delayed on May 6th, and they testified that they weren't a couple times. So, but, you know, the SEC report said it didn't matter, so I guess it didn't matter.
But if your clients are
It
experiencing...
sure matters to everybody I know that trades. That's, you know, the name of the game is getting the data faster. And they're requiring everybody who connects to them to have a 1,000-foot cable. No matter if they're 10 feet away or 50 feet away, because they all would fight over who was closer. So 1,000-foot cable, it takes the speed of light 1 microsecond to go down 1,000-foot cable. So if somebody had a 500-foot cable, they would get 1/2 of 1 millionth of a second faster. But latency doesn't matter, does it?
Only those financial institutions that use the much more expensive direct data link to the New York or other stock exchanges receive the price information without the delay that could run up to 36 seconds.
This is the NASDAQ exchange. You can see the exhaust from the generators, and then the louvers are the air intake. So they've got 3 in place, and looks like they have a slot for another one. Let's see, we can.
So it's being constructed right now?
Right. You can see security. They'll have gates around the whole thing. Their generators are in the back. And then this is another financial service firm.
So no windows?
Nope. So we can go through until they yell at us. These are their cooling systems right back here. You can see the generator exhausts in the back, and then you've got security gates. I don't want to get these guys freaked out when they see a camera.
And is there a reason that they're so close to the NASDAQ?
No. They were in first, NASDAQ came in later.
It is possible for hedge funds and banks to make money from all this volatility that we've got in here. Let me stop. Suppose somebody bought here and sold here, they just made a fortune. And they could retire on that. Accenture, when it's down at cents, a few cents, when normally it's up at $42. I don't know who was doing that. It would be nice to know.
Maybe not a who, but...
Or what, indeed. Yes.
Yeah, if you had GE, that'd be really interesting because the bid would be higher than the ask.
Yeah, you see that happening here also.
Oh, yeah,
at
right.
a certain point.
Because they got behind 5 seconds ish. Yeah, there you go.
So what do I see there then?
You're seeing one exchange is their bid price is higher than the other's offer prices. So you could buy it on the lower one, sell it on the higher one immediately and capture that profit.
You don't want that to happen. You don't want it to be the case that the S&P is 1,000 points here and 1,020 points there. It's the same index. It should just be 1,000. Okay.
What do you mean? I don't look at it.
So let's say I can buy the S&P here for 10% down on the day, but I can sort of sell it here at the exact same moment for 8% down on the day. I've made 2% with zero risk. If you have the exact same instrument priced differently in 2 places, that's free money.
This opportunity actually existed, so people could, and they were, buying one and selling the other.
So that's making money of the malfunctioning of the system?
Yes, it's arbitrage.
Guys, once again, 70.